Today it's the 8th of June 2019. On the 6th of June we have reached a point where we seemingly have solved the problems which we were facing for quite a long time. The problem is that when you look at the block diagram here, in the mode where the signal, the apparatus is being switched off, the signal coming into it from the local telephone into the scrambler is, when it's being switched off, directly bypassed via these two lines, so input is equal to output. At the moment you switch it on and all the voltages are being supplied, the scrambling system starts doing its work into this way, lower sideband transmitting into the line, Leitung, and arriving on the Leitung via this bridge fork system, as we call it. In England or in America they call it hybrid system. The incoming system is being converted, scrambled, but when you scramble it this way and the signal is coming from that way also scrambled, then you scramble twice. That means twice reversing a sideband and reversing it again, you get the original position of the sideband. The problems which we were facing at the beginning is here. The signal was never passing good through the system, and it finally proved that this transformer, or it's a part of the fork system, this one actually is represented by this circuitry. But this is also a part of the whole circuitry here. And albeit that the center point 3 was broken here on the mode switching from Zentralbatterie to Ortsbatterie, that means local battery or extended battery. And when this line would have been broken, it would have worked, because in the other mode it should have worked, but it did not. So I suppose that the simple schematic is not a real situation, because you see here are all the contacts on this switch, and all are have been wired. Never mind, it is working as it should do now. The first experiment, what I would like to do is letting the systems, both units, the units, we have two units, you will later see it on the next film, two units, both units are being switched in the off mode. That means the signal which is going in is coming out. In this situation we enter a tone on this point. It's being scrambled, and so the sidebands being reversed, and it's going to the system from outside. Consider this now being the other apparatus, call it apparatus number 2, and the line, this line is entering again from here but it cannot go back to the transmitting side. It is only being allowed to go this way. And then it should be handled by this circuitry, and the signal is going to the telephone apparatus again. This circuitry is preventing that the signal which is going to the transmitting side is handled by the receiving side. And this is important because when this would not be the case, both are working on lower sideband. That means that here the signal which is to be transmitted in the direction to the line, the output line, would also be received and handled by the receiving side. And if that would not be prevented by this fork or Gabelschaltung, hybrid Schaltung, you would have oscillation, because the signal here is also entering here, and you get a loop, and it starts generating the positive feedback, as we call it, and technically the circuitry amplification is 1. That is actually what we are doing. The first test you will see, signal in is directly coming signal out. Then I will switch on one of the two apparatus, and in the case you switch it on, the signal is not going to the bypass circuitry, but the signal is going through the scrambler. And then you have a scrambling a signal coming out. We will all listen that, and we can make it visible because the second apparatus is actually getting the signal via the line here, and but that is still being in the switch off mode, and the signal coming out. So that is what we will hear. That is what we'll do. First, putting in a tone. The pitch of the tone will be changing. So high frequencies become low and low frequencies become high. At the moment when this is being switched on. The second case, we will see it will repeating it, but now the signal is coming from here, and it is again scrambled, because this scrambled circuitry is equal to this scramble circuitry, and the signal is then being received from the second unit. When the second unit is also being switched on, you have a scrambled or reversed sideband, and when it's returning on the other apparatus, again here, it is being it's being rotating for the second time. And when you rotate something half and you rotate it again half, then you have twice, and you will get back the original tone. That is what the experiments now will show today.